Welcome to the Ramblecast. Sorry, no music today. Nick is unavailable. He's out of town. He's in San Diego, California.
Wales.
And
Yeah.
it threw off our whole rhythm. Like we were
It did.
waiting for him to show up, and we were waiting,
Yeah.
and then we were like, "Wait, there's no Nick this week.
There's no Nick this week.
How
Nick
do we
the
start
Dick.
this thing?"
Nick the Dick. What movie is that
Hey.
from?
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. It's a Tom Hanks movie.
Stripes.
I want you to point out to me where Tom Hanks was in the movie Stripes.
It was right between Bill Murray and John Candy.
He was not.
Okay,
It's from Bachelor Party.
I'm fucking with you.
Okay.
So
They hire the.
I think
guy
I've seen
who-
that movie maybe once, and
Really?
it was in the late '90s, and I was
Yeah.
probably high.
Nick
So,
the Dick. That's where he's got the
yeah.
big dick and it flops up and they go, yeah!
I liked volunteers.
His future mother-in-law was pulling on it.
Volunteers was better. So
Volunteers, that's with Tom Hanks and
John Candy, I think.
John Candy. Yeah, I'll go with Bachelor Party. It was crude. It was the 80s.
Sure. Speaking of the 80s,
Now we
movies-
can't make movies like this anymore.
Okay, but speaking of the 80s movies, and there was a movie that throughout the 80s I never saw it. It was just for one, growing up in the 80s, this was just R-rated. Like now I did get to see Beverly Hills Cop.
Like R-rated in the 80s was R-rated. Like they got away with
But it was
murder.
weird. It was like
It was fun times.
I think my dad was of the mindset like if it's comedy, it's okay. But if it's
Yeah.
drama, that's
You
too
can go watch
serious.
Porky's.
You know, it's like I remember there were episodes of Miami Vice that he was just like, I think this is a little too intense. Yeah, so- Anyway, the movie was St.
opening
Elmo's Fire.
Really?
I
You
had-
never
Ah.
seen that?
I'd never seen that movie.
Oh.
So, and my
I
wife and
also have not seen St. Elmo's Fire.
okay, my wife and you know, you'll appreciate this. She was like, she had just turned it on, and she was like, I've never seen this, but my mom forbade me to watch this, so I'm gonna watch it now. And it was just like it's summer afternoon, we got nothing to do. I was like, okay, I'm here for it. Let's watch this.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I'm trying to remember
It's got everything. It's got a saxophone player. It's got
Rob
the
Lowe.
gay neighbor. It's got a cocaine habit. It's got several stalkers. Like there's several stalker stories throughout the whole movie. It's got love affairs. It's got a rapey scene. It's got, hey, you're a virgin. You're a virgin, but you shouldn't be a virgin, so I'm going to have sex with you. It's got everything. So it's just and
I
a
don't remember.
a theme song, which was oddly not written for the movie. It was actually written for a athlete who was in a wheelchair. So the wheels in motion, the man in motion.
Oh, really?
Was supposed to be,
And it was a
about
hit
this-
song. It was a hit song.
It was a hit song, and he was the guy that wrote it was upset because he didn't want it attached with the movie. He wanted it. It was more about.
But you
his
know what? He
friend.
probably made more money with attached to the movie.
He probably
Does
did.
that sound better, by the way?
No, you're a little low.
Yes, you do. You sound
Okay.
better, but you're low. I'm probably
low?
too.
How about now?
I feel like I'm
Perfect.
too
That's
loud.
perfect,
Hey,
Chris.
thank you, Matt Kay, for pointing out the fact
Yeah,
that I was
it's been probably about 10 years.
audio
It's
through
probably
my
been
phone.
At least 10 years since I've seen it. St. Elmo's Fire. I mean, I see it on Netflix. Is it Netflix has it? It keeps popping up there. And
Prime. I think we watched it on Prime.
On
Maybe
Prime?
no. I don't know. Maybe it was Netflix.
because ever I go, no, it's late. I'm not. Gonna
Okay.
see it.
So for one, the Emilio Estevez character, right? Like his character and what he does, like stalking down Annie McDowell's character, like
Yeah.
and every interaction, she's just like, oh sure, I see that you're love struck over me, but come on, here's my house. Yep, and like
Well, to be
like,
fair, he went
drives
on
all
to
the way
teach these kids how to play hockey. So I think he
that's a
redeemed-
separate
I think,
movie.
I think I think he redeemed himself.
That's a separate movie. In this movie, complete stalker, over the top, like
I forgot about that part. That's right.
fascination, wish fulfillment. I mean, he kisses her. Spoilers for St. Elmo's Fire here, but he kisses
But Tom
her.
Cruise said, "Hey, no,
Back off, Jack.
back up because he was married to her, right?
Was
right? Wasn't he married to her?
I'm not getting into my IMDb for the trivia on that, but
Well,
Nick
Chris
did
already looked.
mention St. Elmo's Fire. I think last week we were talking about how the Brat Pack, the entire Brat Pack, is in this movie, save for Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall, I think.
But is what's her name? The one that was the virgin.
But they're in the Breakfast Club and I think.
But she's
this
not
movie.
in it.
They both St. Elmo's Fire and Breakfast Club both came out, I think, in '85, if I'm not mistaken.
But I'm saying that was it Mayor Winningham? She wasn't Mayor Winningham, the one that Rob Lowe. She liked.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess she doesn't really fit the bill. What's weird is she's actually pregnant, and she's playing the fat girl. Which, by the way, when you watch the movie, she's not fat by any more.
No,
but
but
continuing with the '80s theme of like, we got fat shaming, we've got rapey guy, we've got I mean, Rob Lowe. He tries to put the moves on Demi Moore.
It's Rob Lowe.
Sure, yeah. He thought he could get away with anything with his face.
Well, he did. He did.
He fucking did.
He said this face seats 5. That's one of the lines from the movie.
Well, Mayor Winningham, to be fair, I think it was ER. She becomes the stalker on ER. So you got that whole
full circle.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna back up my facts here and just look up.
Well, Rob Lowe was on.
Breakfast Club is '85. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rob Lowe was on, and Back to the Future came out in '85, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good year for movies.
Magic movie month or year.
Rob Lowe was on what's his name? Rich Eisen. And he was talking about The Outsiders, how him and Tom Cruise used to fight in the hallway all the time, like box and stuff.
He got knocked out.
Yeah, and he got knocked out. And he goes, well, I was really skinny. I had like Karen Carpenter arms. I went, ooh, that was cringe. And they didn't. Nobody. I go, that's you can't say that.
Said that.
I mean, I'm sorry, Rob. I like you, but this is not the '80s. You can't say that anymore.
Okay, come on. Let's just be fair. There's been a lot of people saying a lot of things that you shouldn't get away with, but they have. So,
true. I mean, I'm now married with children. Al Bundy said, "I'm going to go see The Carpenter."
When did he say that?
He said I don't know the episode.
Was it a Married with Children episode?
It was Married with Children episode.
Oh,
it wasn't him. He said it was Al Bundy. He goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna go see The Carpenter."
I think it's in a Modern Family behind the scenes, or like a kind of 10-year. They're wrapping up the show or whatever. There's a kind of a documentary kind of thing that it's about 40 minutes. If you like the show or watch the show, it's worth
I'm doing
a watch.
A rewatch as we speak.
Well, when you get to the end, watch that, because it's really cool, because you get to hear the actors kind of like even some of the funny outtakes that they had, and Al Bundy, which we're calling him Al Bundy, Jay on the show. He said that he didn't want to do another sitcom family show. Like, he was just like, no. But then he read the script, and then he told his agent, like, because the agent kept coming back, like, they really want you. And he was just like, I don't want to do another.
You know who turned it down? Craig T. Nelson.
Really?
Oh, really?
Because
that would have been.
Why can't we remember his
Mr.
name?
Incredible himself.
Mm.
Why can't we remember his name?
Who? Al Bundy. Mm-hmm.
Al Bundy.
Yeah.
Jay
Neil.
Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill.
That's a tough name to remember. He said he was on Rich Eisen, and he was talking about. He goes, he goes. I called. Who's the guy that plays Cam? He said, this show's going to be on for 10 years. And it was on for 10 years after he saw the pilot.
Yeah,
he just said it was so good, and but John, I'm watching it now. I don't know how Cam and Mitchell stay together. I really don't.
Right? I mean, they do all sorts of things to each other.
They're the exact opposite. I mean, they deep down they love it and care for each other. But man, they look to. I think your fault.
I think that's why it takes them so long to get married. Legally they couldn't get married. Well, that's true. Legally, they couldn't get married, but I think there is a little bit of that, like
We have that don't ask, don't tell policy.
Sure, but I mean, like if you look at not Cam, but Mitch, if you look at Mitchell's character, he's very much like a, like wants to please his mom, but is scared of the shadow of his father kind of thing. So he's kind of always teetering, and then you have.
Well, he didn't have a good relationship with his father because he wasn't athletic.
And you get to see that kind of play out through the seasons, that it comes up in different episodes. So it's kind of cool that he has his moments where he gets to kind of talk to his dad about their relationship does get closer, I guess, as the show goes on.
It does get closer. It does come full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm enjoying. I'm laughing, and the kids are funny when they're younger.
What season are you on? And I know this topic is 6
or 7 episodes into season 4.
Season 4,
maybe
okay,
maybe a little further because Gloria's had Joe.
It's always surprising that Joe comes along faster than I think.
Yeah,
I always think Joe is like further along in the episodes.
Yeah, I said already.
Yeah,
and they did a smart job by getting a new Lily.
Yeah, well,
because
new Lily comes in. New Lily comes in season 3.
Yeah,
the beginning of season 3 is new Lily
because little Lily she just couldn't do anything. So
Well, and I thought I had heard way back when that there was some issues with the mom as well.
Well, usually that's usually because that happened in Deadwood. I don't know if Chris has seen Deadwood.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know because you don't see anything. But I was but yeah, the kid that played Seth Bullock's son or stepson on the show, the head writer, the guy was in charge, comes in and goes, we're gonna kill the kid. And it was because they couldn't take the mom anymore.
No shit.
So they killed the kid off because the mom was just such a pain in the ass. Stage mom that they it's not like he was the star of the show.
Right.
It's like you gotta know your limitations. A man's gotta know his limitations. And she didn't. And they'll kill you off. I don't know what because Timmy the Oliphant told the story. I don't know what it was. He told on Rich Eisen. Go back and look at it. But
so that interview with Rich Eisen, I saw another clip of it too with Rob Lowe, and he was saying that Rob Lowe was sharing a story about like how he's never on any shows like blooper reels.
Yeah,
because apparently he's like impossible to break.
Yeah, well,
because of the Outsiders. Yeah, I think he mentioned it was the Outsiders that like was one of the times.
He said he did it once and he ruined the scene.
Yeah, because he was saying like he's like whenever you break, you can't use the cut, you can't use the scenes. Like he doesn't want to. He has like this feeling about ruining the cuts and like not being able to use the scenes and being like wasteful on set. He doesn't want to be that guy. He's like if you look at the outtakes of Community, he goes he's not in any of them. Right? It's not because of him.
Well, I was going to say he's in the background. I noticed one time because I was when I was watching, I think it was Community, and I go, "Is Rob Lowe just a dick? He's not,
he's Parks and Rec. Sorry,
Parks and Rec. Yeah.
Okay.
I always fucking confuse those two
because they're the same show. But
completely different. One's
I'm just fucking with you, man. I knew it was a hot button issue for you, so I said.
Well, also season 1 of Parks and Rec, notably not the best season. And it does, and they don't really get traction till the 3rd season. Whereas Community, out of the gate, season 1, the writing on it is really solid, and I would say that show is a slow death.
Because I think you start losing some characters, and then
Whereas Parks and Rec, I think finishes strong. And the last,
I think it because after season 1, I go, okay, I'm done. This show sucks.
Right. I know.
And I go, how's it coming back? And the people are like, you gotta go back and watch it. I go, no, it sucked. It was just, it was the worst show in the history of television.
I doubt that. I doubt that. If it was the worst show in the history of television, there wouldn't be another season.
In my opinion, the network didn't call me.
Okay, clearly.
Well, to be honest with you, all those Thursday shows didn't do well in the ratings. Community and Parks and Rec and even The Office.
Right.
It was popular, but it wasn't like a.
But you look at the Office in that period of time though, and they actually took some creative chances. Whereas if you look at what CBS, historically has done, they're like, what is the most safe and white bread thing that we can put a laugh track to?
Anything.
How about Friends in a Bar? Yep. How I Met Your Mother. Okay, put a laugh track to it. Which basically almost ruins that show. So.
Mm-hmm. And,
Big Bang Theory. So let's put Friends, except make them geeks.
2.5 Men, which is just have hot women every week,
right.
And then
right, exactly. But again, it's canned laughter. There's nothing. There's nothing like super. And mind you, I like Big Bang Theory. I've definitely watched it, but that show again, I don't think it really starts to come into its own until the women become part of the show. Before that, it's a completely different animal, and it's kind of base sex joke, nerd joke kind of filler until the women get voices. Yeah,
it's funny. My daughter somehow got like involved with watching Young Sheldon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was just like a recommendation on one of the streaming services, or whatever. But she's gotten really into watching Young Sheldon. I'm like, hey, you want to try and watch The Big Bang Theory, which is what Young Sheldon's from? She's like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. She watched like 1 or 2 episodes with me. She's like, this show sucks. Like, I don't want to watch it. And then even with Young Sheldon, for her,
there's no laugh track. There's no laugh track in Young Sheldon, though, right?
No, there's not.
No,
there's not. Like, there's not laugh track in Young Sheldon.
And even with Young Sheldon, she's now kind of like, it's not as good as it was in the beginning. And she's kind of towards the end of it. She's like, I don't know if I'm going to continue watching it.
We found that we couldn't watch it week to week. We could only binge a season of Young Sheldon. Now, early seasons, I'd say the first 3 seasons are really full of heart.
But he got tall.
There's a lot of there's an episode, father-daughter kind of pulls at your heartstrings, but there's one episode from it's like the girl is kind of like has her first crush. She wants to learn baseball because this kid's into baseball, and it's a whole father-daughter kind of relationship thing, and her going through the motions, and it's a good episode. So but I mean that show's got heart, whereas Big Bang doesn't really, we'll say, grow a pair until
they were making so much. I mean, it was getting like 20 million people were watching.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
because I know when Jay and I were doing that show about, it was television. I forget what it was. It's like Ramblecast, it was television. And I was trying to watch everything on TV, and I'd watch the Big Bang Theory, and I go, and someone would say something, and I go, all right, what did I just miss?
Right.
I'm pretty quick on jokes, so I go, what am I missing? I go, and then some of it would be funny, but at other times I'm like, it was the laughing over some stupid thing. You're like going, okay, I don't get this. I don't know why this is funny. But I was going to go back to Rob Lowe. He's in some outtakes with Parks and Rec, but he's not smiling. He just stays in character.
Huh.
And I go, I thought he was just being a dick. I thought he was doing one of those, some actors don't like it when you if you're laughing, they get pissed off and stuff like that. I go, oh, but no, he just taught himself not to laugh.
Well, and I'm sure if like it goes all the way back to like The Outsiders, like one of his earliest career kind of starting roles.
I think it was one of his main roles.
It would kind of, I would think, leave a mark. It's like you're still developing as an actor, so that leaves an imprint. Like it's like, oh, this is how acting should be. This is how I need to behave. It is kind of funny though to think about after watching St. Elmo's Fire, it reminded me of The Big Chill in many ways. And
that is Kevin Costner's first movie.
Really? Huh.
It wasn't Silverado?
He was the dead guy.
Oh, that's right.
He got cut out.
Huh.
That's right.
Or one of his first movies. But yeah, he was the one they went to go for the funeral for.
Mm-hmm.
And but they never actually showed him. I guess he got
Tom Selleck was in the movie Coma. He was the guy in the coma.
Huh.
I don't really remember the movie because it's been so long, but I just remember that. But
I like to try to like make those weird leaps and connections with characters and movies to other movies, like what Jack was doing. But like, I like to think of St. Elmo's Fire, like maybe Billy actually grew up and then got into politics, and then is in the West Wing.
Maybe he did because he became super smart.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's just a Billy from Stranger Things.
Ooh, nice.
Didn't they both have
I
the
stand
same
corrected.
earring?
He was in 5 films prior to The Big Chill.
Okay, see, we
right?
fact check ourselves here. We're not
was
like
Silverado one of them.
Silverado was after The Big Chill.
Okay.
His first movie is in '81. That was Malibu Hot Summer.
Ooh,
that sounds like an '80s movie.
I think I saw that on USA Up All Night.
He was uncredited in the movie Francis. He was in the movie in 1983's Stacy's Nights, and then 1983's
I definitely saw Stacy's Night on USA Up All Night. That was
he's all like, no. But in The Big Chill, he was the dead guy.
I remember Big Chill. Well, that's how what's his name? Kevin Kline.
One of the best. I was just gonna say one of the best soundtracks ever pressed onto a record, tape, or CD. I put that up there with Gross Point Blank and The Big Chill are 2 of the best movie soundtracks ever made.
Really? Well, I can't argue with you. So I don't remember that soundtrack. I remember the movie, but not the soundtrack.
Which one?
Gross Point Blank.
Oh,
the Big Chill.
Big Chill. Oh. I know had good music. I can't remember.
Either Chris or I are looking this up as we
pulling
speak.
up right now.
Okay.
I Heard It Through the Grapevine by Marvin Gaye. Good Lovin' by the Rascals. Joy of the World by Three Dog Night. You Make Me Feel Like a Woman, Aretha Franklin. My Girl by The Temptations. Smokey Robinson's Tracks of My Tears. The Temptations, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. I Second That Emotion by The Miracles. And Tell Him by The Exciters.
I would probably go with Fast Times at Ridgemont High over that group.
Let's look at Gross Point Blank.
Okay, yeah. Now, for whatever reason, I don't think you can find it on Apple Music, right?
Going back to Rob Lowe, while you guys are looking for that,
he
tells a great story about The Outsiders. How Patrick Swayze had to always stand on bricks or something to make himself look taller than everybody else.
All right, Gross Point Blank soundtrack. Ready?
Okay.
Yep.
Blister in the Sun, original, Violent Femmes. Rudy Can't Fail by The Clash. Mirror in the Bathroom by The Beat. Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie. I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash. Live and Let Die by Guns N' Roses. We Care a Lot by Faith No More. Pressure Drop by The Specials, which, by the way, you cannot find anywhere because it wasn't... they didn't get the rights. Digital rights weren't a thing for that song. So if you go and download the Gross Point Blank album off of iTunes or Spotify, you're not going to get Pressure Drop by The Specials on that album. The only way you're going to get it is if you actually physically purchase the CD, tape, record, or whatever. I happened to rip that CD back in the day. So I have it digitally. I ripped it. That version of Pressure Drop, which was originally by Fitz and the Maytals, I think, which is a Caribbean band. Anyways, amazing. Absolute Beginners by The Jam. Armageddon Time by The Clash. El Matador, but I don't know who that is. Let My Love Open the Door by Pete Townsend, and Blister 2000 by the Violent Femmes as well. Phenomenal album.
No, it sounds solid, and you can still get it on CD. If you're really
get it because it's absolutely worth it for that version of Pressure Drop by The Specials.
Right now on eBay, free shipping. You can buy it for $613.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm tempted. So
do it.
Do it, you coward. Do it.
No, I got it pulled up on my phone. I'll do it after we get done here. So, no, that's a solid.
I still go with Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
All right, I'll pull that up.
I'm still sticking to my Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack because nobody's beating
that movie. Sucked, man. Come on,
Bobby Brown. Nobody is beating it. I know it's just one song. But come on. No one's beating Bobby Brown. Doesn't really
No, that
quite
doesn't. That's that.
hold up, does it?
No. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Okay, I'll go through it
Okay.
really quickly. Somebody's
Sure.
Baby, Jackson Brown, great. Waffle Stomp by Joe Walsh. Love Rules by Don Henley. Uptown Boys, Louise Goffin. So Much in Love by Timothy Schmidt. Raised on the Radio by the Ravens. Looked in Your Eyes, Gerard McMahon. Speeding by the Go-Go's. Quarter Flashes, Don't Be Lonely. Never Surrender by Don Felder. Fast Times by Billy Squire. Wellesley, Massachusetts own Billy Squire. Fast Times at Ridgemont High by Sammy Hagar. I Don't Know by Jimmy Buffett. Love Is the Reason, Graham Nash. I'll Leave It Up to You by Poco. Highway Runner, Donna Summer. Sleeping Angel, Stevie Nicks. She's My Baby, David Palmer, and Phil Jost. And then Goodbye, Goodbye by Oingo Boingo.
Goodbye.
I don't know.
It's
There's a lot of filler in that list, I think.
I don't know. Makes the movie great. I'm sorry. That would be a good versus someday.
Yeah, best soundtrack.
Best
Not
movie soundtrack?
Not yeah. That is not instrumental. You know, like
Yes.
actual like
Instrumental would be completely different.
would be completely different animal.
There's other ones I'm thinking of. I can't think of right now that I might pick over Fast Times, but I love Fast Times. I had the album.
I mean, Top Gun.
Wait, I
Top
had
Gun
the
had a
cassette
solid
tape.
one. Mhm. So,
Purple Rain.
Purple Rain. Yep. Purple Rain is one of those like it's a soundtrack
Mhm.
and it's awesome as a soundtrack, and the movie is just like okay, yeah. I'm not saying that
Almost
the movie
Famous is great.
Almost Famous is really good. Yep.
Almost Famous is excellent.
Pretty much anything Cameron Crowe.
Pulp Fiction.
Cameron
Fiction's
Crowe.
phenomenal soundtrack.
Yeah. His
can you
movies
count
were-
Forrest Gump? Because like
I would. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
two,
that's
it's
two
two
anthology.
albums though.
That's a
It's
great
it's a
great
two.
soundtrack too.
it
It's a
really
two-
is.
It's a 2-discer though.
It is a 2-discer for sure.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
it's but there's actually 2 versions. There's I think it's 4 discs if you think about it, right? Because I think they released a second 2 discs.
oh, did they
set.
did they release a volume 2?
I believe they did.
Huh.
Well, what about Saturday Night Fever?
No.
Maybe for a certain generation.
For a
How
certain
about
generation.
Dazed and Confused?
What
How
about Goodfellas?
How about a little
Goodfellas, great soundtrack.
Oh yeah. And by the way, I know I was joking earlier with Ghostbusters 2, but this next one, top notch.
You've already
got
lost
some
your.
bangers.
You've already lost your.
It's a little movie called Batman Forever.
Mm.
And if you've been kissed by a rose, I'm here to
that's,
tell you.
Yeah.
Kissed by. I'm so sick of that song.
You're still sick of that song.
Because
Okay.
Cindy has that on
last
her
practice.
playlist. Breakfast Club.
Ooh.
For soundtrack?
Yeah,
I don't
Grease.
remember them having.
Fuck Grease.
Grease.
I can't fucking stand
No.
Grease.
You're the one.
Thank you, Chris.
It's
see
so
you.
fucking overrated.
The Muppet movie.
Listen to this track, right? So this is Dazed and Confused. We have Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, great song. Slow Ride,
Rock and
Foghat.
roll.
School's Out by Alice Cooper. Jim Dandy, Black Oak,
Mhm.
Arkansas. Tush by ZZ Top. Love Hurts, Nazareth. Stranglehold, again, Ted Nugent. Cherry Bomb by the Runaways. Fox on the Run by Sweet. Lowrider by War, of course. Leonard Skinner's Tuesdays Gone. Highway Star by Deep Purple. Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss. And Paranoid, Black Sabbath.
This list I'm
That's
looking
a
at
fucking album.
This list I'm looking at has Big Chill at 35. Had
Really?
It
35?
had Batman at 39. Space Jam, Goodwill Hunting.
More recently, and as a family, we were actually
Forrest Gump,
talking.
25.
We were talking about these movies, but the Guardians of the Galaxy, both Volume 1 and Volume 2,
That's a good one.
dynamite, like
So good.
solid, and
So
it's
good.
and it's hard to split them too,
Yep.
because it's like I've had them both together on a big playlist. Actually, what I did one time is I just made a monster playlist of kind of a lot of the classic rock songs that they've put in a lot of the Marvel movies. Makes for an awesome road trip playlist because so many of these movies have really good soundtracks. So
This list has Purple Rain #1. Lion
Will
King
Fry, I might
#2.
second you on that. The Guardians of the Galaxy soundtracks are better than the movies. Solid for #2. Volume 2, the soundtrack better than the movie. I was not wild about the whole ego trip thing, but and the third one, I mean, the music on the third one is really good actually if you look at the list, but the third one is so emotionally traumatizing as a movie to watch if you love animals. I don't know. Have you guys seen the third one? Have you seen the third one?
I have not seen the
Guardians. No. Okay.
Oh, I've seen the third one.
I've seen the first one. I saw part of the second one.
Yeah, and that was it. You
was it.
You made it farther in Guardians than you did on your quest to Mordor.
No, I did not. I've seen. I fell asleep during the second Lord of the Rings.
Understandable.
Yeah, no, I still think you've made it farther with Guardians, but
no, I think to be fair, I fell asleep and then woke up at the end.
Okay.
So
well, so you didn't really put in the time.
I hadn't slept in days. I was tired.
Yeah.
And what we should probably do instead of taking a nap, take a commercial break.
I want to take it back to the beginning.
It back, baby. Well, speaking of actors,
yes,
we've had a lot of them pass away in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like every day there's today Bob Newhart. I mean, I love Bob Newhart.
Yes, the Bob Newhart one. Yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He went from accountant to stand-up comedian.
I'll be honest.
And then back to accountant.
Yeah. I didn't know he was still alive.
Well, he's not.
He kind of has his farewell on Big Bang Theory. I mean, that's really kind of one of the last things I'm trying to think of anything else that he's done.
For All Mankind, man. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Well, sure. No, but he's not in that though. Like that's just
he's in it.
Technically, he's in it. Yeah, right.
So,
only non-musician to win Best New Artist Grammy. I did not know that.
That's cool. That's a cool one.
Because his thing was having phone conversations, and he carried that over to the Bob Newhart show. Where he's a psychiatrist, and a lot of the episodes have him talking on the phone to somebody.
Even Newhart.
Yeah.
And growing up, I didn't know any of that backstory, but you just watch Newhart as a kid, as I did in the 80s, and it was just like, he'd pick up the phone and he'd be having a conversation with somebody that you didn't know what he was talking to, but you believed it.
And Newhart had the best ending to a TV show in the history of TV.
It's good, but it relies on the fact that
it comes out of the blue. I mean, it's just like, what?
But it also implies that the context of the image that you're seeing.
But I did.
You did, but not everybody does.
Well, that's your fault.
No, it's not my fault. I'm just saying that
I froze again.
Yes, it's a great ending. I will give you that. I'm not saying that it's the greatest. I'll go verses with that. It's like the greatest ending, and even TV sitcom history. Like I would put Cheers above Newhart. So yes, it is an amazing callback, but without knowing the other one, how do you know that? You're just like, wait, what? This whole thing's a dream?
Well, I think for older people like myself,
for older people and people that were in on the joke, but it doesn't.
But it's such a risk taker.
It is a risk taker, and it was something that many other shows decided to nod to or do some type of a reference to. So it broke ground. I will give you that. Just not going to say that it's the greatest of all time, because I think the greatest of all time should encompass the show that it's in without necessarily having to go beyond.
Newhart was in the 90s, right? 80s?
80s. It ended, I think, in 89, maybe 90. So I'll look it up. Chris, how do you feel about this? Because you're being awfully quiet there.
I never watched it.
It's like practically in your neck of the woods. I mean, Newhart, he runs an inn up in Vermont. So
never watched it.
Okay. All right.
I didn't give a fuck. I was too young.
1982 to 1990.
Yeah, I was 2 years old when it started and 10 when it ended. And I couldn't have given two fucks about it in the in between.
Sure.
Just was too young.
So when
And
did it start?
I was 14 when it ended. So, well, actually, I would have been 13 because it would have ended in the spring. 82 to 1990. So
Yeah, the Bob
last
Newhart
episode.
show, I think, ended in like 70 something. So you're not talking that far of a stretch.
Okay. Again,
You punk kid. Oh, Bob Newhart ended. The Bob Newhart show ended in 78.
okay,
So you're talking 4 years.
genius. Here we go. I didn't see that because I was 2 fucking years old when it ended.
I was negative.
Okay,
2
and
years
again,
old.
the show has never been off the air.
Okay, no, I never caught reruns of the fucking Newhart show.
Where can you watch Bob fucking Newhart today, Jack? Where is it showing reruns?
Netflix or Hulu?
MeTV is where it is. I guarantee you it's on MeTV.
You can watch it on probably any streaming service.
Sure. What I'm trying to
can
just say
you
here, though, is that Chris
Stream
suffers
Bob
from the same
Newhart.
inflection of knowing what
But
Newhart
it's-
is
it's
as
not
I
fair.
do for the Bob Newhart show.
We can't use Chris because Chris doesn't watch anything.
It's not fucking available anywhere without paying for it.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
I-
sad. I'm sad for Bob
I
Newhart.
just watched it like a year ago. Maybe it's not on right now. I don't know,
Well,
but it was.
people take shit off all the time. I went back to look at something on streaming that I meant to get back to, and it's like it's already gone. And I'm like,
I went on.
and I
I
can't
was
find it
watching
anywhere.
the original
So.
Dick Van Dyke show.
Apparently,
Dick Van
Bob
Dyke-
Newhart was at one point on Hulu, but is no longer
Okay.
And maybe it'll come back.
because nobody fucking watched it.
Now we just have to deal with Jack's smug face being like, well, blah, 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 blah. Like he's all
I'm doing my
like,
Carol Burnett.
Oh, is that your Carol
I'm
Burnett?
So glad we had this time together.
I-
When she pulled her, I
think it looks like you're holding up
You-
a phone to your head.
You got.
like,
I probably was doing the phone. Probably Bob Newhart. But I'm sure you guys haven't seen Carol Burnett show. So why am I even talking about it?
what?
Have you seen the Carol Burnett show?
I've seen parts of the Carol
I've
Burnett
seen
show.
bits and
But
pieces of it. But
again,
I understand you guys don't like a strong, funny woman. I get that. So you're not going to watch it. Oh, it's
You know
named
what?
after a woman. I'm not
know
watching
what?
the show.
I watched enough Mama's House.
I listened
okay?
to you enough.
All right. Yeah. Boom. We're gonna come back fighting.
But she always ended her show with a song that she tug on her ear, and that was she was saying.
By the way, that show also ended
I-
in 1978, 2 years after I was born.
you
okay?
literally can go on YouTube and find.
Almost a
find-
decade before Chris.
It was a funny show.
Okay, again, nobody's going on to YouTube and searching for fucking Carol Burnett shows.
Oh, yeah, they are. Tim Conway and Harvey Korman.
Okay,
Some of the funniest scenes. Have
You
you
know
ever
what?
seen?
I'm not discounting, Jack, that those scenes may have been funny. I'm just
they're
simply
rip-roaring.
stating that
People go
nobody
on it all the
fucking
time.
cares about them
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh yeah. They did. Carol Burnett she was a groundbreaking.
You know what I heard though? I heard Lauren Michael was adamant that people didn't break characters early on in SNL because he didn't want it to be the Carol fucking Burnett show.
Well, because they didn't have Tim Conway.
Apparently, so he didn't want any Tim
Chris
Conway.
Doran,
And
look up
now,
I
now look
guarantee
where
you,
SNL
you look
is.
up the dentist sketch.
fucking Tim Conway.
You
with-
will laugh. You cannot help but laugh.
Okay.
Tim
I will
Conway's
do
a
tit
funny
for,
dude,
I will do
but
tit
no
for
one's
tat. I
searching
will
for him.
watch that once you watch the episode of the IT that I've been talking about.
I'll do IT when you watch the dentist sketch.
Okay.
I've
Fine.
seen the dentist sketch.
What is the dentist sketch?
I know of the dentist sketch. I've seen it. I'm younger than Chris. I've watched some Carol Burnett. What I saw was hilarious.
You know,
I'll
there are
have you
whopping
know
50
that there is a
viewers.
whopping 51 viewers, which is like way more than we have.
I'm
of
like,
Carol
that's like-
Burnett YouTube live
like
stream channel. Wait, is that
47
big?
more than what we have right now. So that sounds great. So yeah, maybe we should be talking about the Carol Burnett show more.
Yeah,
So,
perhaps.
I'm so glad
Um,
we had this time.
I did see I thought I saw like something with her and maybe Lucille Ball sitting down together. I meant to watch it, but Lucille Ball.
I've seen more Lucille Ball than I have Carol Burnett.
Okay, because that show's never been off the air.
Right. Also, Lucille Ball is a ball buster. She is amazing. She's an amazing woman in all that she has done with
I just looked up. He's right about the Carol Burnett full episode live stream. I didn't even know that was a thing. But here's a clip that has 44,000 views. Let's see.
We've just lost Jack.
The dentist sketch has 8.4 million views.
I'm sure it does, Jack. Nobody's discounting that.
No, Chris was saying it.
I'm going to put in the notes for tonight's show.
I'm glad I watched it because it was funny.
The show derails somewhere around the Carol Burnett show.
You know what the lineup was on Saturday nights? You had All in the Family.
I'll tell you what the lineup was.
Oh my God!
What?
I'm sorry.
Kid Rock potatoes.
Is currently fucking performing at the RNC and introducing Donald Trump to speak.
Neither of what either of you are talking about entertains me in the least bit right now.
I just think it's fucking
Carol Burnett is funny.
Thanks. Well, no, we can agree on that. And that's all
I know you hate
about that.
She was also an episode of Magnum PI, the original. Anyway, great show.
Great show, kids. It was one in a million.
The Tim Conway elephant story is great because it's Harvey. Is it Harvey Korman, Dick Van Dyke? Is Harvey Korman there? I don't think Harvey.
I really thought that Chris was frozen, but I can tell that your light is changing on your mic. So
why are you watching it?
I know it's like,
oh my God, this is so fucking embarrassing.
Anyway, are you talking about us?
Anyway, I don't want to talk about the 200 elephant ton.
I did in the room, finish Dark Matter on.
I've been meaning to.
It had kind of an ending I thought was going to happen, but if you like,
is it one of those endings where I'm like, fuck, they're not even going to do a season 2? You know,
it's a mini. It's a one and done show.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a one and done.
I don't. It's like I like a good mind thriller. Or a good sci-fi dystopian,
It was.
And I've been through the trauma that is The Walking Dead, so I don't want to be like, I don't want to be Walking Dead to death.
No, I like this because I didn't know it was going to be a one and done, but it's a one and done. But yeah, I liked it. What's her name? What's the actress name was in Top Gun recently?
Conley, Jennifer Conley.
Jennifer Conley's in it, and I thought it really picked up. It does start out slow because Nick didn't like it. It starts out slow, but once it starts getting because in the beginning it's like you're like, what the fuck is going on? I can't figure. It was so confusing.
Yeah,
it was like over my head. I mean, I don't know, but then it started going,
oddly because she's in it. It kind of sold me on it. Like I'm kind of hook, line, and sinker on the Jennifer Conley train. I'll just watch whatever she's in. I'll even put up with Tom Cruise.
And she's good in it. And it has, like I said, different twists and turns and all that fun stuff. But
I've been doing boring kind of schoolwork. So typically school doesn't start for me until August. So I wait until then. But I had to get some stuff kind of done ahead of time. So I was giving myself time this week. Get out of vacation mode, get back to work, do work stuff. So
that starts when
for me in August, like third week or fourth week of August.
My daughter's gonna go back to teaching again here soon.
It's basically like doing tours at this point, like for teachers. I feel like because of
it's been nice because with her not working, I'm not driving to her house every day. I mean, the school, then the house. Our gas is lasting us like 3 weeks.
Oh, right.
Whereas sometimes we have to get gas twice a week. Chris, it's a train wreck. Stop watching it.
This is unbelievable.
Stop watching it.
So I have to just mention this. Like, he's not even hiding the fact that he's completely lip syncing.
Sorry,
like he's like taking the microphone away.
Live reporter on the street.
And it's still going.
Huh?
It's just so fucking unbelievably bad.
Well, the reports are Biden's going to step down.
Yeah. How much of
Well-
a big dick move would it be if he just like interrupts, like the second he starts talking, Biden interrupts and does like a national announcement of him stepping down?
He won't do that now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He just called out his brother Dana White. Rock did. That's really weird.
Oh, okay.
Is that his brother?
No, it's the president of the MMA.
Oh, okay. What? Okay. Anyway,
UFC.
I finished Billy the Kid on MGM. I decided to keep it for a month. The streaming service MGM.
Billy the Kid was a TV series.
The what?
Was it a TV series, Billy the Kid?
Yeah, it was. It's two. It's going to be a third season too.
Mm.
I didn't know that much about Billy the Kid, so I've been watching it, and then it's pretty good. A lot of people die in it. It's a lot of shooting, a lot of death and destruction.
By the way, one of my favorite Bob Dylan soundtracks is Pat Garrett and the Billy the Kid. It's got a really, really couple cool instrumental songs. So even if you're like not a Bob Dylan
Once
fan,
friends, but we know what happens. But anyway,
what's that? Friends.
Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid used to ride together.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But,
So he I mean, a couple of the songs kind of sing about it. So you might even be, we were talking about soundtracks. It's worth a listen, because of the lyrics relate to. Well, there was a movie. I think it was Sam Peckinpah film. So
Sam Peckinpah.
So it's like a
Paw Patrol
1973 or something like that.
I did have an incident with my grandkids, the two brothers, the two Emery boys.
Uh-oh.
They're 4 and 2.
Whose names remain nameless.
No, it's Hayden and Ashton.
Oh, you're just gonna call them out.
I'm in the kitchen making them breakfast. They're in there fighting. They're fighting with each other, and I'm like going. And I just woke up, and I'm like, going, I go under my. I thought under my breath. I go, fuck this shit. And so Hayden goes, "What's fuck this shit?" I go, "How the fuck do you hear that?" I go, he goes, "What is it?" I go, "Something you're not supposed to say." I can't say fuck this shit. I go, "No, you cannot say that." And if you say it in front of everyone, you say you heard it from your mom. So I still don't know how you heard it because he was holding the younger one down, and the younger one started biting his nose. And he's like, ah! I said to pull him apart, and he's got like teeth marks all across his face. I'm like, guys, can we stop fighting for a second? Just a second. But that's my life.
Well,
because we can't go outside. It's too damn hot.
It is.
They
go super hot.
We want to go outside. I go, it's 100 degrees,
right.
And the humidity's 100%. I go, we can't, because I mowed the lawn yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was just dripping because we're going out of town for a while. I can't have it too high, or the association will say something. I was just soaking wet from head to toe. I was like, going,
stupid association.
Yeah, this sucks. I need to get a riding mower.
What you need to do is say like, oh, hey, I've dedicated my yard to
science.
Yeah, it's no, it's like you put up all of like
sanctuary.
No,
bird
you plant
sanctuary.
you plant a bunch of plants for butterflies, and you're like, oh, this is I have a natural way station.
I'm sure there's a rule against it because it's the association.
So dumb.
It's like
that's what we did.
I don't want to say it's
grass.
like I don't want to say it's like Nazi Germany, but
we don't have grass out on our front yard. Not that our yard is big to begin with. We have a very kind of small front yard, but what we do have of front yard, we've converted into. Well, my wife has because she's the gardener, but all of these different native plants, and there's kind of like a little path that you can walk through them.
That's nice.
But they're all different kind of flowers, and they bloom at different times of the year.
It's ridiculous, and
we don't have to mow.
I won't water the grass because it's too expensive.
Ooh, clover. Have you thought about doing clover?
Just plant
clover. Yeah.
Just let weeds take over.
We have Bermuda grass, which is can take the heat. But it was funny. We hadn't had rain like a month, and so everything I had my pre-emergent that I put on had killed all the weeds, and the Bermuda was just laying there. I go, I don't have to mow the lawn. This is great. All of a sudden, it starts raining because we're in like a middle of a drought here, and And so I go, all the weeds said, "Hey, we can come back. Thank you. And so they grow higher than Bermuda pretty much grows
They
level.
pretty much choke out the grass.
Yeah, the grass. So I'm like going, I said, do I put pre-emergent on there? I go, no, I might as well wait till after it. I got a couple more months, but God, it was so.
He's doing the fall.
It sucks, man.
Just tarp it all and then just put rocks on top of it.
I know when I first moved here, I said, I'm going to switch to Kentucky bluegrass because that'll last year round. I want green grass because Bermuda goes dormant for like 5 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like going, God, is there any way to get this thing to go dormant for like 9 months?
AstroTurf it.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
I probably can't because when it
the
rains.
Association, yeah.
The association would but also the rain would flood my neighbor's yard because it would just rush down.
But that's what I'm thinking about the rocks. Like you tarp it with rocks. Like
I know
it's a real fuck your neighbor move, but it'd be really kind of baller.
I don't think I can do it.
Okay.
I think I said this. Cindy used to put little magnets over the mailbox.
Really, maggots?
Magnets, like pretty flowers or whatever,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever. It covers the mailbox. Can't do that. It has to be black.
Wow.
Just metal black on there. I go, yep. We've had this for like 21 years. Yeah, we're enforcing it now.
Yeah.
I go, well, that's good because that was destroying the whole neighborhood, having mailboxes that had, because they're not uniformed. I go,
wait till you find out what they're doing with women's uteruses. It's even worse.
Well, at this point, all I care about is my mailbox because
sure, no, I get it, but that's kind of like a more personal mailbox.
It was more Cindy cared about it because she has all these different. She has like 20 different magnets she has to buy because she has to buy something.
I mean, I would decorate. We our mailbox is just kind of like one of those little kind of vertical envelope kind of thing, jobbies, envelope boxy kind of things. So if anybody wants to come by and blow it up, it's federal.
See, we have to worry about in good old New England. I've had my mailbox taken out by snowplows probably 7 times in the last 10 years.
Gosh,
I've had mine taken out by drivers because we used to be at the We used to be at the end of the street, but now there's the condos next to us. But they still take it out. I'll come out and I go, huh.
What would they do if your grandchildren drew on the sidewalk with sidewalk chalk? Do they not like that? Is that anti?
We don't have sidewalks.
Oh,
it's grass road.
Grass
and
road,
and the roads are really narrow. I've said 1,000 times. I go, I would have gladly given up part of my property to have sidewalks where you could actually walk on there with the kids without being worried about someone running you over.
Right, because that's.
And you have sometimes where people are so stupid they park on both. One car will park on this side of the street, the other, and you can't get through.
That's annoying.
I mean, one time I was late for work when I was working. I had to literally go find somebody. I go, "Is this your car? Your truck?" With all they go, "Yeah." I go, "I can't get through. You're blocking the way."
My friend Paul's got some cereal for me. I'll be right back.
My bad.
Sorry, I was imagining it was a stoner, but okay.
It was a hick. I mean, probably the same thing, right?
Sure. Well, a different sort of.
I'm saying
depends on what we're measuring people on a scale of. By the way,
deliverance.
By the way, after my wife and I watched St. Elmo's Fire, we had a new definition of like we should have a stalker scale.
We lost
for
Chris,
movies.
By the way.
No, he's just.
I'm here.
He loves watching a train wreck.
It is so fucking awful.
Well,
St. Elmo's Fire and stalker rating.
What?
You said you had a stalker rating, you and your wife.
Oh yeah, no, my wife and I, we joked about having a stalker rating for movies because of characters like that were in St. Elmo's Fire. So again, you have the Emilio Estevez character who is stalking Annie McDowell, I believe, right? Is that her name?
Yeah, she was married to Tom Cruise, right? Do we ever figure that out?
I know.
Was she really?
It doesn't matter. So anyway, there's that because Tom Cruise is married to somebody else, Mary Catherine Gallagher. No,
He's
Mary.
not, he's not married to anybody right now.
No, Tom Cruise is married.
No, he's not.
Oh, Tom Cruise. I'm sorry. I was thinking about Tom Hanks. I was getting the
Because
80s Toms
they're
mixed
both
up.
the same.
Okay. No, they are in my mind because we're talking about
I'm
80s
sorry,
movies.
he was married to Mimi Rogers.
Mimi Rogers, Nicole Kidman, and Katie Holmes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Why are you throwing Tom Cruise's name around like
He's
that?
also cousins with Ethan Rom. But
Yeah,
who's
from Lost.
Yeah.
All right. So the Andrew McCarthy character, he whose name's Kevin, he's pining after the Ali Sheedy character.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, Ali Sheedy looks straight up like Shirley from Laverne and Shirley. Like, I think they have a similar like head and hair shape in that movie. I was just like, oh, you kind of look like Shirley.
I never got the attraction for her.
Well, anyway,
Ali Sheedy?
Yeah.
She has a cute. She's
definitely 80s hot.
Yeah,
she was 80s hot.
This is also a new scale that we can rank things
from War
on.
Games or Breakfast Club. Did you see War Games?
I liked War Games.
Okay, all right.
I liked War Games. Yeah, I was, but
I was gonna say maybe Short Circuit, but
Oh yeah, Short Circuit. I just she was in a movie Cindy and I walked out on.
Which one was that?
I don't know. It was she played a maid or something. It was so
Made to Order.
Was it Made to Order? I don't know. It was
it's called Made to Order. I'm looking at it.
Is that what it is? It was so bad. We got about halfway through. I go, I'm done with my popcorn. I go, this movie's terrible. So we walked out.
Wait, she was in Home Alone 2?
Yeah, she plays Kevin McAllister.
Oh,
it was a stretch.
The ticket agent.
Oh, huh.
That's interesting. Okay, cool.
Well, it's kind of I guess somewhat in the John Hughes kind of universe. It's weird because I didn't quite. I mean, it's been so long since I saw Short Circuit, which is another movie that's just full of 80s bingo.
Johnny Five was alive. Johnny Five.
Well, yeah. But also, the whole thing with the actor that plays what's his name?
He was in Lost.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got a really skinny neck.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
It's like freakishly skinny.
Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, Fisher Stevens.
Fisher Stevens. That's it.
Yeah, with his.
He dated somebody?
Very questionable.
On Friends, maybe?
I didn't realize Michael McKean was in Short Circuit too. Man, yeah, because he's like the huckster guy. That's like, yeah, man, I gotta watch that movie again. It's got a 5.7 on IMDb.
Fisher Stevens is 60. Huh. Who knew?
Who is he married to or dating?
Spouse is Alexis Bloom. He married in 2017.
Okay, he was dating somebody, and I was like, huh. It was a head scratcher.
Well, Made to Order basically has a 5.5 on IMDb.
How did it get that? How did it get that high?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle, that's who it was. Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm like going, all right, I'm not seeing this.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. See, even Matt just almost fell off his chair.
I'm like, huh? Not Catwoman.
Yeah.
No, there's no way.
Matt Trees, Carol Burnett's live stream is down to 50.
Because Jack closed out the window. It's down to 50.
Well, you know what it is all the older people have to go to bed. Right? I gotta get some sleep.
What are you talking about? It's like basically half of our podcast.
That's true. Yeah, I still now I'm even more shocked. Yeah, Fisher Stevens and Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm nothing against Fisher Stevens, but
no, he was definitely hitting above his weight class though.
Yeah,
especially with that neck.
Yeah, he should have wore like John Voight always has a scarf. He should have wore a scarf, kind of hide that neck thing because it freaks me out. It's so skinny. It's like most of the time if you're going to strangle someone, you have to use two Hands.
If we
it's just one hand on Fisher Stevens.
If If we name this episode to Fisher Stevens' neck, it's not like we're gonna get in trouble.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. We can come up with a better one. Than
I mean, it's
that,
how.
but,
I mean, how does he balance? I mean, it's just I don't get it. I'm just like it's like a Q-tip. It's holding a pumpkin.
Q-tip holding a pumpkin.
Okay, I'm neck shaming here. I get it. I'm gonna get some hate mail.
Well,
I'm
hey,
not here next week anyway, so fuck off.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're not here next week.
Has Jack moved in the last 20 minutes?
Nope.
He's been frozen the entire time.
He's not even in a slow motion.
Because I just have it happens every week. I get the dark.
You didn't even try to leave and come back in. You didn't even do us that favor. You were just.
Oh, you want me to try? Okay, fuck it. I'll go.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Nope. I'm not getting called out.
We're an hour in. We don't need to be playing these shenanigans. All right. And thank you for tuning in this week. And
Chris is like, and thank you, Matt, for making Jack do that. So, anyway, you weren't here last week. We talked about this drawing in the background at some point.
Yeah, I was check that out, dude. That thing looks awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, there's some more to it close up. I shared it last time. Oh, hey, Jack's back.
He's back.
Jack's back.
Don't let it be said I don't give 100% effort.
Yeah, sorry about last week. I pulled the typical dad move where you're trying to get your whiny...
the dad.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead. Typical dad move.
Typical dad move where I was trying to
High five.
My whiny son who is being a pain in the balls.
Well, he's what is he, 6?
5.
5. Okay. Yeah. Come on.
Right.
Cut him
But I laid down with him per his request, and I did so. And I'm pretty sure I fell asleep before he did. Because I woke up at like 11:30, I think it was.
Well, it's funny you're saying that because we've gotten so much feedback how last week's episode was the best one in like years.
I believe it. I believe
really because I was tired ooff my ass. Like if you check the tapes,
I'm just making it up because
squinting halfway. Yeah, I was.
This was Matt last week.
15% at best.
Drool is coming down his face. He goes, I should be watching the Carol Burnett show live.
At least I'd get to see some ankle.
Well, they don't do shows like that anymore. Those were
well, the 70s were filled full of this kind of variety.
Cher, you had
variety show.
You had
this
Tony
is
Orlando
where
and Don variety show.
This is where the Star Wars holiday special comes from. I mean,
I still think that
and why are
Justin
Disney
Timberlake
overlords
should do a variety show?
Yeah, Justin Timberlake doing.
He's got the talent.
Sure, but he's also got that whole
sponsored by Jack Daniels.
Sponsored by.
My wife went and saw him a couple weeks ago, actually, in Boston.
There you go. Did she give a toast to him?
No, but she got her seats upgraded, though. Someone from Ticketmaster found her in her but her and my friend Beth, and they swapped out her tickets for a like real close up. So she goes
nice
within 50 yards.
But they told her you're that close to Timberlake, you can't light a match or anything around.
He might go up in flames.
Yeah. I kid. He's he made a mistake. He's extremely talented, though. Extremely talented.
Yeah.
I think
a piece of shit, though.
He is a piece of shit. But again,
cheated on his wife too. But everyone like sweeps that one under the rug because
he did it, and everybody saw it.
Yeah.
And like I said again, well, she's keeping the thing together, but it's not like a Fisher Stevens, Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah, but
I mean, Jessica Biel is pretty fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
but he's an absolute stud too. So
yeah, he's a pretty boy. So,
but I mean,
he has a normal neck.
We're talking about people though that have lived a majority of their life, more than you or I, right? A majority of their life has been spent as the center of thousands, if not millions, of people's attentions constantly.
How do you think Carol Burnett did it, dude?
I don't know. Because she could pull
50 people.
I mean,
she
that's
pulled
just
Jack
now.
With no effort at all.
By the way, Carol Burnett was amazing, and we all loved her performance in Better Call Saul.
She was fantastic in Better Call Saul.
Like, I mean, it surprised me.
On the RNC thing again.
Yeah, going back and forth.
She was amazing. She's amazing. She's an amazing actress. Actually, her stepdaughter.
Her stepdaughter's what?
Her stepdaughter was a customer of mine.
Oh,
Used to talk to me about her, and then
Did you just say give it a rest? It's not going to happen again.
I did not say that.
I didn't even hear
Prove that. It is not. I was not saying that exactly in that context. Jack is mad at
didn't
me.
I warn you guys ahead of time about that?
I told him to stop watching this shit. You know,
He said it. It wasn't me.
I did not say anything.
Michael Jackson. What? Andre. What about Michael Jackson? He had talent. Anyway, wait for him to.
Hey, Randy and I are
waiting on the original stream. Oh, there was no other stream.
I don't.
Well, you know what? You know what happened today?
Okay.
Jay couldn't do the sports show I do beforehand, so he gives me the here's all the stuff you need, and of course it doesn't give me all the stuff I need. So I had to log out. So I just fuck it. I'm just going to do it on this stream. So I'm sorry, Randy. That explains why Randy hasn't been in the chat.
We probably haven't had Sherry. I mean, Matt Treist is a detective because he knows things. He tracked us down.
Yeah.
So
well, I think Matt Treist isn't he the Emilio Estevez of this podcast?
Emilio Estevez.
He's stalking us.
I would put him more on the who's the other guy in the I need to go back to my cheat here and look at the
Music is Life soundtrack.
St. Elmo's Fire. Okay, there are several people that are pining after other people in that. So there's Andrew McCarthy. So I think Matt Treist is more in the Andrew McCarthy kind of level and not in the Emilio Estevez. Emilio Estevez is in like the extreme level 10. Like
he found us when other people. I didn't know there was another. There shouldn't be another feed. This is the feed. Sherry was worried too.
Also, the Wendy storyline, she also is pining for Rob Lowe's character the whole time.
But she's wearing
Wendy's pining for Billy.
She's wearing granny panties, right?
She is.
Mayor Winningham.
Well, she was wearing some type of spandex, and she was pregnant at the time. And she was actually older than Rob Lowe, and she had 2 kids already.
Yeah.
So, go figure that.
It's Rob Lowe.
But then, of course,
it'd be like Michelle Pfeiffer and.
Well, he was the youngest of the group of actors. It was.
I've been muted.
So
sorry, Sherry. We've been here for about an hour.
I don't know why there's another feed though.
It says the other link or the other feed is on the link in the Facebook.
But I posted this one. This is the thing. I don't know, man.
You know what, Jack?
I apologize.
You fired.
Good.
Don't come back next week.
Is this the last banana?
This is the last banana. I'll take over from here. I've got this shipwreck.
For now on?
Until
While
you
you're
come
gone,
back.
I think
that's bullshit.
You got real excited there, Jack.
I did get real excited. Do you like Beauty and the Banana?
I was not quite sure.
The banana.
Okay, well, here's a fun thing that my wife spun me a yarn about. But apparently, there's some historical. Coincidentally, they wound up on the Carol Burnett feed. Probably, I hope they did. I hope they ended up on the Carol Burnett. We talked a lot about Carol Burnett. Here's what you missed. If you're just joining us live, this is what you've missed. Fisher Stevens' neck. Jack talked a lot about Rich. Jack talked a lot about Rich Eisen. We talked about the 80s movie, St. Elmo's Fire. Rich Eisen. We did a brief talk about Modern Family TV sitcoms to Young Sheldon. And we talked about what is the best soundtrack. For
we actually had some pretty good topics.
We did.
It's probably been one of our best shows in a while.
And then I put the show derails on the Carol Burnett show. So
I got 2 kids here that have never seen it. But Andre Young author asks, would you rather share a bed with a porcupine just one night or share a bed with a skunk for one night? I'm gonna say the porcupine because I can just push it off the bed.
Yeah.
The skunk smell is just never gonna. And you'll never get rid of that skunk smell.
You know what? You're not telling me what I can wear and what I cannot wear. So I might just wear a gas mask and go for the skunk.
But no, the skunk smell will never leave.
Never gone, man. It's gonna be all over your shit.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get all new bedroom furniture. And
this bed, this theoretical bed, I am imagining is just in the woods. Why else am I sharing a bed with this porcupine? They're not in my house. If it's in my house, maybe the porcupine, because I've got a king, and I'm thinking I can at least be on one side.
Yeah.
So
do they bite though? Do they have rabies? My mom feeds skunks.
If I recall, porcupines are actually quite adorable, minus the whole like
porky
stabbing you thing.
Yeah. Again, I'd go with the porcupine just because the skunk smell never goes away.
True.
We used to have a lot of them. We don't have.
Good question though.
It's a great question.
Throw out any more if you've got because the other thing is where is this bed at? Is it in the wilderness?
There with a good point.
Yeah. So how big is
sure
this?
Yes. Are these nicknames for girlfriends?
Porcupine and skunk.
Sherry. Jesus.
I didn't even think about that, Sherry. Good.
Wow.
I like that. Skunk. I mean, going back to the old Married Man show, we had some of those topics where okay, you know, it was well, I'm not going to it.
I will say that I've never slept with a skunk, but I have been with porcupine.
How do you do how about to do a skunk because I can't spend a whole night with spikes? Give me blisters on my back overnight. Well, maybe the blisters be somewhere else. So you got to think about that too. I'd rather have blisters on my back than
always go with the grain.
Yeah.
Always, but they can throw those quills too. That's a scary thought. Is like them shooting out. Because what if the porcupine's having a nightmare? People don't think about this.
Can I bring a knife and just kill the damn thing?
If the skunk is happy, isn't it just like a cat? Isn't it just like a cat? It's not gonna...
The skunks stink.
Always
they stink.
I mean, is it like if it's just kind of like a pot skunk?
They could be like a block away, and you're like going, "Oh my god, the fucking skunk!"
Yeah, it's no different than what I smelled in New York. I'll tell you that much. With the weed and the sewer chemicals mixing together, it just was
like a giant
perfect odorific.
They're trying to get the trash off the streets now in New York. Because that's my favorite thing. When I first went to New York City, and I go, why are these piles of these bags? Oh, it's trash. I wonder why they have rats. I don't know. I can't figure this out. Do they have that in Boston?
Yeah, I mean, if you go into big ass rats, I remember there was a restaurant that I used to work for. Called John Harvard's Brew House, and we had one in the town where my college was, and there's another one in Boston. I would work at the one in Boston every once in a while, and they had it was up against the subway line, right? So it was like, you know, it's the basement of this building was the bar and the restaurant, and the subway line was like adjacent to the property. It said late at night, if you're there, when the subway line would go past, you know, the restaurant, the rats would emerge from the walls.
Whoa.
And it was health code never really I mean, the health department never said anything about it. Someone probably got paid off, but
it was big rats too. Yeah. I mean, they're huge. We saw one by the Capitol building one time sitting in, and I said, "Did you vote for him?" But no, it was a giant. It looked. I thought it was like a dog. I go, oh, wait a minute. That's a rat. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
But there's another question from our young author here. Okay. How about this? Would you rather travel back in time to the past to meet your ancestors or travel in time to the future to meet your great grandkids?
if they're gang kids, I want to meet my great gang kids.
They're grandkids.
Gang kids.
Grandkids.
It's okay. I would have said it too.
Oh, fuck off.
He's in rare form tonight.
That's a tough one, but I think as much as I'd like to see my great grandkids, because Sydney and I were talking about this the other day, saying, she was saying our grandkids now, would have a chance to live in the next century, at least to cross over to that next century, whereas we won't make it. And I said, our great grandkids will be in like the 23rd century.
I'm gonna be 121 years old when I die.
Yeah, and you still hadn't seen any TV show. No. So I would go back to talk to my ancestors, because what if my great grandkids were just assholes? I wouldn't want to know that. I wouldn't want to know. I mean, they could turn out to be great, but they could turn out to be dicks. And I don't want to go looking at my kids going, oh, you need to stop having kids or my grandkids go, don't have kids because your kids and your kids' are just, it's like in the Back to the Future. We got to go, Marty, we got to go back.
What are my kids assholes?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd go back in time.
My thought is more like, I don't want to see the dystopian wasteland of my great grandchildren and be like, oh, you're living in some kind of hellscape where you're like a prisoner in some kind of weird Canadian slave system, I don't want to see that, Canada. So like working out like some kind of weird. So I'm going to go back in the past and see those assholes, and then maybe I can give them a stock tip,
Yeah. See, for me, I don't even want to know about ancestors so much as I would just like to go back to like 1988. Just to be with a family that I haven't had in 20 years. Yeah, sure. I mean? Like, I lost my dad a few years back, and my mom's still around, but I've lost her too. So it's one of those things where going back to a time in which everything seemed to be fucking pretty awesome.
Would it be hard that what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Because I lost my dad to the same, similar disease, and it's like knowing that what he's going to face and what we as a family had to deal with. I don't know if I couldn't go through that knowing that. So I think I'd go further back to where over to Switzerland.
I'd still go back just to have another shot.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things that they do on time travel shows, they've done it a lot. Like old Quantum Leap did it, and I think the new Quantum Leap did it, but it's like just to be able to hear my parents talk again, like just calling them up and just like being a random stranger and just being like, oh, blah, 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 like having just kind of a conversation or seeing or hearing, those kind of things. I would imagine that they would be smaller than what I remember them as, because like when you're a kid, like everything's bigger,
right?
Even the sound. Like I found a tape of my mom talking, and it was weird because I was like, oh, that's so like, it's just like it was slightly different because I remember how she talked at the very end of her life, not at that like earlier.
Because I have vivid memories of 1987 when my dad turned 40. Like I remember it like it was yesterday, and to think of where he was at that time in his life, and I'm 4 years older than that. It's just,
you're 44 now?
Yeah, I'm 44. I don't know. I'd love to talk to my mom and my dad of 39 and 40 years old versions of them. I'd love to go back, or just to talk to my parents when they were my age, even like you go a little bit older. So 1992. My parents are my age, which is fucking wild when I think about that out loud, But I'd love to go back and talk to the my age version.
Would you say things differently? Maybe say I love you more, or maybe.
No, I mean I have no regrets in not saying that.
No, I'm just saying.
I think that I've always shown my love and appreciation for my family. I've never not done that, and I have no regrets about that portion of like my growing up. I just haven't seen that family unit in a long time, and I missed that part of it. Yeah, we actually had a conversation with the friends of ours, over this past weekend, because there's been a string of unfortunate events. TV actors die. My good friend Dave, his aunt had just passed away. That was like a second mom to him. It was just kind of one of those moments. And I look around, and I'm not to get all sappy here on this whole thing, but we're talking about it one night up to Maine for a night in this cabin, just kind of chill out up there. And like they all have these family units still that I haven't had in a long time. And I'm supremely jealous of that. Again, nothing against them, but like my wife has such a good relationship with her parents. He has such a good relationship with his parents, my buddy Dave. I didn't really have that past high school, college. Like my parents were kind of like out of the picture even before my dad got sick. And then my mom is now mentally sick. She's completely out of the picture at this point. It's like I haven't had that connection in probably 20 something years, to be honest.
Well, that's what, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that was the thing when we moved here from Raleigh to, from San Diego, because we always got together. We had this extended family, my mom's husband, his family became our family, and they had a huge part. We always got together, always did things together. My dad would the holiday bowl, it was first started with just me and him. Right. Then it was my brother-in-law. Then it was Cindy. Then it was the kids. And boom. By the end, it was like 20 people he was paying for to go to this game. It was with dinner and all this different stuff. And once we came out here, we still flew back for the game, but then it was just getting harder and harder to do it.
Yeah.
And then I guess everyone there's pretty much stopped doing stuff. So I do miss that. I missed it. And now, unfortunately, people are passing away because the age and stuff. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So Sherry asked, what would your goal be? I think this is probably a little bit of a delay. That's kind of what we just talked about, right? But so what would your goal be? Like to, say what you need to say to them or to learn who they were. And I think part of me wants to know is like, would I want to hang out with my parents? If they're my age, like, would we be friends? How would I find a way to like make that happen? You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I just another chance to have a really good, productive conversation would be. I think be worth a lot.
It's a great topic because I know my dad. He wasn't very open about stuff about his childhood, about stuff. But when he started getting, in the Lewy bodies dementia, I found out more about him. Because it was my turn to watch him. I'd fly out there, watch him for a week, and he would tell. A lot of times, he thought I was someone else, so he would be telling me stories as I was that other person, and I'd be like, and some of them were sad. It was like, man, you had to go through. And some were, funny, but I learned more about him in the last couple years,
right,
than the whole thing. I mean, it just.
Yeah, it's like my dad's dad passed away when he was 15. So he didn't really have a dad, in the times that he really absolutely like could have had one, and my mom, she was more or less kicked out of the house when she turned 18 and never looked back. She had to, like my grandmother on my mom's side, which I found out well after she passed away, was like a raging alcoholic and a fucking complete terrible person to her kids and my mom. So like there was definitely that like severed family link, from my parents' generation, which I feel like was just naturally kind of like hereditary, right? So it's just what they knew. So like when I graduated high school and went to college, and that was kind of like it, for my relationship with my parents. It just turned into like a, phone calls here and there, and not really close. And it kind of sucks, but.
Well, I know with my mom, I found when my uncle died, he had my grandfather's flag for his service or whatever like that. And then she asked me, do you want it? And I said, well, yeah. But then she said, okay, I need to tell you something about your grandfather. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it was probably the worst thing that you could imagine he was doing. And so when I found all that out, I was like, blew me away. Blew me away. And I was like, so now I hate my grandparents because of what they were alcoholics.
Yeah.
But, finding out what they did and they didn't. And I've told the story a few times. I've never told it to my mom, but maybe I'll just keep quiet about that one. But because I don't want her to think.
Sure.
Anyway. But
well,
yeah,
I will say that I learned things as they were happening in the divorce between my parents and my grandparents, and some horrible things that went down, and reading hate mail for my mom, like just like some really like heavy shit, and it just being able to kind of move on from some of those things and not hold on to that, like, hate, I guess, to be able to kind of be like, okay, like, well, I forgive you, like for this, but yeah, it can really cause barriers in your heart, because you're just like, whoa, like this is, I did not, but I don't know, like, I mean, through my parents' divorce, I felt like I saw them for being human and not superhuman.
Right. Vulnerable.
But I also got to be really close to them in these like really vulnerable moments for both of them in very unique ways. So, and then I got to see how they moved their lives on in two different kind of ways, and how I kind of like jockeyed between,
And
I think that,
yeah, but to kind of like tie into all that too, like I think about the impact that those relationships had, right, that you're describing with your parents and grandparents. Jack, your relationship with your grandparents, and then the things that I've learned and found out about my family and experienced with the lack of connection, I kind of feel a little bit, has completely dictated how I parent in a really fucking good way. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that because of all of that, I am approaching this dad thing. And I say approaching this dad thing, I've been doing it for 12 years. And you guys for even longer, right? But like, I approach it in a completely different light. Like I not to sound cheesy or cliche, I want to provide the best of the moments that I remember, and also provide the ones that I didn't get. So like, I think those are the big things for me. But I just wish my parents could have known my kids.
Yeah,
that's probably the hardest part. But they didn't know my kids, and even like when before my dad had cancer, and before my mom really kind of slipped off into the deep end, really, like even then they weren't really around to get to know them all that much. So it's a wasted opportunity.
Finding, I guess, different, I don't know.
This episode got deep, real fucking weird.
I was going to say that for the people that joined us because they're on the wrong feed, we were really funny the first hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
sorry.
No, it's quite all right.
No, it's what we're here. We there's no set thing we talk about. It's just boom.
Yeah.
Geez, we were talking about some things there, and now I'm even all turned around there with what I was going to say. But yeah. Fuck, it'll come back to me.
It was about parents meeting your kids or something like that. That's what Chris was talking about.
Oh, parents meeting their kids. God, yeah,
your kids.
I can't.
Because my dad only met Zach.
Oh, yeah. No, my mom. Yeah, my mom being gone. This came about, and I didn't try to like, I bring up my mom or my kids know they've seen photos or what have you, but just the other day, like my daughter was like, she told me that she writes to my mom in her journal, and it just
Jesus Christ.
It just made my heart swell so much because I was like,
Because you're like the Grinch.
Yeah. And I didn't, this is like, she told me, and I was like, just keep it together. Just walk out of the room. So, just that meant a lot to me, just to know that she's having that kind of mental connection, or at least, some type of, so, but you can't manufacture that. You can't say, do this, it's like, I try to bring her up. I try to talk about different things, or if she's interested, I'll bring, but, to Chris's point, when you lose someone, and Jack knows this too, when you lose someone mentally, and my grandmother was this way, where there was a few instances that occurred, and then all of a sudden she was kind of like gone. It was like there's a window, and sometimes the window's open and you can see it inside, but you still don't get to go through the window, right? You can only peek in at the window. And this was maybe 5 or 7 years ago. I had this dream. Now, both my grandfather and my grandmother and my mom, they're all passed. And in the dream, we're all in the kitchen that I grew up, their kitchen. And most of the time I have dreams about my mom or my grandfather, and that's pretty normal. But my grandmother being there, I hadn't experienced her aura or her presence in so long. Like, we're talking decades, like 30 possibly decades. But to Chris's point, like, it was like being with that person, like being wrapped in their essence. And other than dreams, I don't know of any other way to capture that kind of essence, and you can spend your whole life chasing that, because it's hard. It's hard losing people and never seeing them again, to know that it's like, oh, well, they're never gonna get to talk to my kids or get to see them do these things.
Yeah.
But I also believe that, I don't know, I mean, Chris and I grew up on that Force stuff, so I tend to think that she's there for those moments. So, but yeah,
Wow. There we are.
I know I get when the Padres were playing the Cardinals in the playoffs, and my dad, huge Cardinal fan. Of course, I'm a Padres fan. Padres always would lose the Cardinals in the playoffs, and he was smart. He wasn't a mean one, but he'd get his little digs in. So the Padres beat the Cardinals. My first thought was, I got to call my dad, but he had passed away. So I'm like bawling. He comes over, I go, I can't call my dad. I'm like going, because I want to rub it in his face. I couldn't do that. I was like going, oh my God, I just wanted to rub it in his face, and I couldn't do that. Just wanted that one moment, but it took the Padres too long to do it. He would always end his phone calls with, your time is up. Your time is up. But when he started getting when the dementia was really bad, you couldn't get him off the phone. I mean, he just, and I couldn't figure it out at first until I figured out what was going on. But he had himself cremated in his spot. My sister said, "What should we put on it?" My sister put up, your time is up. And so that's what we put on the thing, because he had that kind of sense of humor too. So it was like, so. Anyway, I'm gonna go see him when I get to San Diego. So there we go.
Yeah, so you're gonna be gone next week. I will be
on this cheery note that we left off
hosting.
Well, I'm trying not to cry, but I was born in the '60s, and you don't cry. You don't cry. I don't think I saw my dad cry one time in my life, and it's when I was watching him, and he just gets so out of it, and I hear this. I run in his room. He's like fallen. And he said, I was this close to escaping. They're coming to get me. I was this close to escaping. And he's crying, and I'm just bawling. I'm like, But only time I ever saw him cry.
Wow.
ever because he just kept his emotions in check, kind of thing. So, but yeah,
it's a real Rob Lowe kind of guy.
Yeah, he is exactly.
No blooper reels.
He did make he
See,
did
I
make
brought
Karen,
that back around.
my dad did make Karen Carpenter jokes. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's not a fun thing to go through. I mean, nobody should have to go live that way. No way. Anyway, anything else? I talk about mowing the lawn. That's about it. That's all I got.
We should probably throw in another commercial break here because we
let's take a commercial break.
Right before we end.
Yeah. There's an email for Chris, but I don't remember the password for the emails.
For me?
Yeah, it's about you and Star Trek. We've been trying to read it for like a month.
Nice.
And Randy
do you want me to try to track it down, or should we just?
Yeah, let's see. Well, just do it.
Or we can just do it next week.
Well, I won't be here next week, and I want to know what it is.
Okay. Let me see. I think I can pull up the.
I'm sure because Randy said he goes, "Oh, I should have sent an email because you banned him last. Remember, you banned him after the last email."
Oh yeah, I forgot.
He goes, "Oh, Chris isn't here. I could have sent an email."
I forgot why I banned him.
Oh, it was kind of a. It was a.
Let's see.
It was okay, but
a pseudo ban.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Randy. Feel free to email.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the email that I see here isn't the email that, or maybe it's this. Nope. I am sorry, people.
I sent an email. Sorry, it's wordy. Was it for Chris? Will Fry said
the only emails I see in here, and maybe I'm not doing the emails.
Well, you might have to click on it might have already been clicked on.
Right. But I don't see anything.
Bunch of fucking old dudes trying to figure out email.
You know, my wife still has an AOL email account.
Oh, brutal.
Even I don't have that.
Sorry. We're just gonna wait until Nick gets back.
All right, but we'll save the Chris one for me.
All right.
Save the Chris one for me.
Or just you know what? I'll watch it next week. I'm pretty loyal to the show. All right, guys. I think that's it. That's all we got, right?
That's it for me.
Oh yeah. Thank the people that make this show possible, Jack.
This show is possible because of patrons and you guys in the. I'm sorry. I apologize for I have no idea what happened. Why there were two links. There should have only been one. Maybe it's dark matter.
Ooh, we did talk about that.
You're 22 and you think you're old. You don't know. See you in San Diego, Jim. Yes, I'll be there down in the cesspool that is now become downtown San Diego. And Chris, we're losing him. He's tired. Anyway, if you'd like to become a patron, go to jandjack.com. Click on the thing to be a patron. So looking for our $1 million patron. You only have to do it 1 month. And again, we're not sharing it with any of the other podcasters. It'd just be since we're asking.
Not even Nick.
I'll give some to Nick.
He's not
here. He's got a bear problem.
If he's
got
not
that
here,
bear walking around his yard. Anyway, we're gonna.
I got a couple of crowns I gotta get in here. So yeah, hook me up.
Yeah. Eckhart Rittner, Glaffelter, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Planet, Ed, the creepy poopy letter carrier. Thanks for what you do, and thanks for everyone who joined us in the chat who found us. And that's all we got. Again, the first hour of the show
was a lot more lighthearted. So go back, watch
it was
that.
It was a lot of fun, but still really.
Jim got all emotional and shit.
Fisher Stevens and Michelle Pfeiffer. It still doesn't click.
Doesn't add up. That's his name.
That's all we got. Hasta luego and goodbye.
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 Goodbye. Goodbye.